And we are back. Okay, as promised, I want to get to this issue dealing with Shanquilla Robinson. For those of you who do not know, this was a young woman that lived in North Carolina who was vacationing with some friends. Excuse me. She was in Cabo, Mexico. And while being in Cabo, Mexico, different media outlets allege, that she was in an altercation with some other individuals. And as a result, she ultimately lost her life. Well, there was a viral video of this particular beating, and it went viral, showing what appeared to be a naked woman being assaulted by someone else. So according allegedly, you know what I'm saying, because this is all alleged, this is no proof of anything, the individuals that were with her uh uh, were with her came back to America. I want to show you all this clip for those of you all who are on my social media. Here we go.
The mysterious death of 25-year-old American tourist Shanquilla Robinson. Police issued their first arrest warrant Wednesday, charging an acquaintance of Robinson's with femicide, a form of gender-based violence. At this time, local officials have not named that person, but they have identified them as a direct aggressor against the Charlotte native. We also know that they have already initiated requests to the United States for extradition. In a now viral video that is too graphic to show, one of Robinson's acquaintances is seen physically attacking her inside the room of that luxury resort in Cabo where they were vacationing last month. And this week, ABC News obtained a bombshell police report that states Robinson may have been getting medical attention in that room for 3 hours before her death. Her autopsy revealing she died of a spinal cord injury and a broken neck, contradicting her roommate's claims that she fell ill due to alcohol poisoning. As the FBI now conducts their own investigation, Robinson's family is expressing relief that their calls for accountability may finally be answered. Mexican authorities.
Well, let me say this to you about that. As a retired judge, I would have individuals who would flee to Mexico, and we would try to get them extradited back. Mexico has one of the worst penal systems in the world. Okay, first of all, it's a third world country. I mean, you know what I'm saying? To me, it's third world. Okay. Anyway, the penal system, allegedly was at that time, 20 years ago, very corrupt. I learned from the lawyer that was on this particular matter involving this young man. They said there were rats that were the size of cats. You have maybe about 4 to 6 people in one bunk. Okay, forget 2. The conditions there are very inhumane. The assault is so high that many times you had to pay the police for safety. It is nowhere people want to be. They don't have the modern conveniences. I know that people that are incarcerated now talk about prison rights. They don't have that. What? Oh, okay. Well, they overhauled their system, saying, well, we're going to do better. You ready? You ready? Okay, because I don't think you're really ready, but I'm going to tell you. It was not until they overhauled their criminal justice system that they have proof beyond a reasonable doubt. It used to be you were presumed to be innocent, and you had to rebut that. Now, if you have a system where you are guilty until proven innocent, It's hard to get out of people's mind that that system is really gone, because it's really not. Okay. And what I'm saying to you, there are remnants of it. And it's the way that that system is looked at. Now, femicide. What is femicide? Femicide is a type of murder that involves a woman, 7 criteria: evidence of sexual violence prior to the death, a sentimental, affectionate, or trusting relationship with the perpetrator, and the victim's body being displayed in public, and some other criteria. Basically, when I looked at, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on for a minute. The death comes about through someone who has had a sentimental or affectionate or trusting relationship with the perpetrator. In our system, murder is defined as the unlawfully taking of another life with some intent to commit very bodily harm, less than crime, murder, an intent to murder, an intent to kill, etc. They ain't dealing with that here. So what they're saying is you can be charged with femicide if a death results, which is the unnatural taking of a life, and you was my girl, and there's some evidence to link us that you did something to my girl. This is different because their system is so loose in how it can be charged, and the how the elements are so widespread. This is going to be very challenging to defend against. First of all, when the lawyers look at the information after your charge, you only have a right to have a judge trial. Jury, oh, we don't do that, boo. Judge trial. And there are 3 judges that sit up there. Now think about this. These judges potentially could be influenced by the fact that this case has gotten a lot of media sensation, that it appeared, and the media is portraying it as such, that this act occurred, young Miss Robinson lost her life, and the alleged perpetrators came back to the United States like, we cool. No, because Mexico and the United States have extradition policy. The average length of time for a femicide is 25 to 45 years in prison. They're not kidding. You don't have a right to jury. These are going to be educated people. They're judges. Trying to prove cases to judges is extremely challenging. Why? Because you can't shift the blame. They're looking straight at the law. And what they're going to be looking at, unfortunately or fortunately, is the video of this situation. If convicted of femicide, that person who may be charged or named in this this warrant is looking up to 45 years in prison. And let me tell you something about those prisons. They don't believe in all of that plea bargaining and all of that. Let me tell you something. You better come in there with a posse. And the problem is, it is like most courts, it's a familiar court. What do I mean by that? A court is a familiar court when the people that practice in that court are from that city. If you at Wayne Circuit, a lot of the lawyers that were before me lived in Detroit or Southfield. They practiced a lot there. This Mexican government, what we do is, like, if you take evidence, you got to put it in a plastic bag and make sure you preserve it. They don't have those requirements. It's extremely loose, which means that many times, according to what I've read, when people bring allegations, it's very hard to refute them. Why? Because it's like, prior to guilt being until you're innocent until proven guilty. It was guilt. You were presumed guilty. So this is, and people are tired of Americans potentially coming to their country, doing their little deeds, whether it's smoking weed or whatever, and going back home and bye bye. They're not going for that. This, let me say this, whomever that arrest warrant was issued for definitely needs to posse up ASAP and try to get a lawyer that has ties to that Mexican city, because this is not looking good. The average length of time for a case to go to trial is 2 or 3 years. It's not fast. And the inhumane circumstances, oh my God, 4 to 6 people in a bunk. So two people, I believe it's four. Two people, so you if you got four, two people sleep on the floor, two people sleep in the bed. And it's hot. It's inhumane. They said that rats the size of cats. They said the rats eat better than the people do. The last place you want to be in jail is in one of these foreign countries, because they don't regard uh, prisoner rights the same as we do. They don't do that. They feel hey, you in prison, you just like the rest of them. But what's even more challenging in a situation like that is this case has received global coverage. Do you think that may sway the judges? There's a great possibility. Either way, we'll be back.